Hello there, greetings to you indeed, and many thanks for joining us on Rwanda Television News tonight. I hope that you had yourselves a great and productive Monday and a great start to your brand new week. Welcome to tonight's edition. These are the headlines. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning revealed that the 2024-2025 financial year national budget will see an increase of 11.2% compared to the previous year. Rwanda and Uganda committed to improving cooperation and coordination for strengthening relations and addressing challenges hindering inter-movement between the two countries. Good evening to you once again, and thank you for your company on Rwanda Television News. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning revealed that the 2024-2025 financial year national budget will see an increase of about 11.2% compared to the previous year. The budget will sum up to 5.6 trillion Rwandan francs as presented before the parliamentarians on Monday. Prince Manzi brings us the details.
Presenting the budget framework paper, the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Ndagijimana, revealed that this budget of 5,690.1 billion Rwanda francs will see an increase of 574.5 billion Rwanda francs, approximately 11.2% compared to this year's approved budget of 5,115.6 billion Rwanda francs.
Amafaranga ateganyijwe mu ngengo y'imari ya 2024-2025.
The 2024-2025 national budget will be a sum of 5,690.1 billion Rwanda francs, and this will be an increase of 574.5 billion Rwanda francs, approximately 11.2% compared to this year's approved budget. The domestic revenues will be 3,414.4 billion Rwanda francs, approximately 60% of the whole budget. And this is a great step in funding our own budget. Parliamentarians were concerned with the imported rate that is still high compared to the exported.
This
difference between import and export is still found. I saw that you had to address it, but there is no systematic approach touching all sectors like agriculture and others just to close this gap. The Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Ndagijimana, elaborates on the incentives in place to close the gap between import and export.
There
are incentives of using the opportunities we have, like in agriculture, as you said. There are local crops that are liked globally, but you find that the sum exported is still low. We are looking on how to increase the production as we have the market and investment is there. There are big projects like Gabiro, and we have investors that took part, and the produced will as well be exported. In addition, is increasing the quality of our minerals, and this will favor the export. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning also presented to both chambers of the Rwandan Parliament the current status of the implementation of the 2023-2024 approved national budget. This 5,115.6 billion Rwanda francs budget has been used on an 88% rate, demonstrating that the budget implementation will be maximized.
Chief Justice Dr. Faustin Nzidiayo reiterated that Rwandan courts continue to receive more cases than they can settle, primarily due to insufficient staff. This was disclosed during a press conference on Monday on the commencement of the 5th Judiciary Week. The commencement of the Judicial Week coincided with marking 20 years of reforms in Rwanda's justice system. The President of the Supreme Court, Dr. Faustin Nzidiayo, noted that a lot has been achieved in regards to delivering quality and timely justice. We continued building the capacity of judges and other judicial workers, the same with prosecutors and investigators, by building their professionalism. Also, monitoring the performance of judicial workers, as well as employing technology in what we do. Prosecutor General Aimable Havugiyaremye noted that the fact that the Rwanda Investigation Bureau (RIB) was granted the right to drop some cases under investigation when necessary contributed to the reduction in the number of cases received by the Rwandan courts. The cases received by the Investigation Bureau are less compared to the ones taken to courts. The second one is that even the dossiers sent to the prosecution, not all of them are forwarded to the judiciary. However, cases received by the courts are still lower than those settled. We have a pressing issue of the high number of court cases settled compared to those received because of inadequate staff, which hinders the delivery of quality and timely justice. The Director General of Justice Sector Coordination at the Ministry of Justice, Anastase Nabahire, highlighted measures in place to reduce court cases. Measures include bail procedures, alternatives to imprisonment, which is yet to be launched as more than 2,000 people have been convicted of it, the use of tracking devices, and also to make sure that imprisonment is the last resort. The Judicial Week, which was launched on Monday, will bring together institutions in the justice system and other relevant authorities for discussions on the challenges that still exist and how they can be addressed. Rwanda and Uganda committed to improving cooperation and coordination for strengthening relations and addressing challenges hindering the movement of people between the two countries. This was said on Monday as Rwanda hosted the Rwanda and Uganda cross-border security meeting. Prince Manzi brings us the details.
It has been a while since Rwanda and Uganda are in the process of discussions to reform the relationship that had been dormant since 2017. And since 2022, the relationship between these countries has started to improve. In Nyagatare district, in particular, last year, 2023, the new border of Chizinga was opened in addition to the two that connect these countries in this district. Big cows exported there for being sold, and Ugandans giving us what we need, and we thank the President of the Republic for initiating this border, for collaborating with our brothers. In Nyagatare district, there was held the Rwanda and Uganda cross-border security meeting aimed at further strengthening cooperation between both countries and easy cross-border movements and trade. Ambassador Joshua Julius Kivuna, the head of the Regional Peace and Security Department in the Ugandan Ministry of Foreign Affairs, reiterates that though there are still challenges, there are also ways to manage them.
Fortunately, these challenges are manageable, like smuggling, human trafficking, the small traders and the taxes. These challenges have been there. Fortunately, our technical teams on the ground are working on them. They have modalities, as you said, how do we solve them? They are constantly meeting, they are constantly communicating, they are constantly coordinating between them. Ours, as their senior leaders, are to encourage them more so that they meet more, they communicate more, they coordinate more. Because we believe the smoothness at the border helps our good relations, which are improving all the time.
Rwanda and Uganda also established a joint permanent commission aimed at assessing the progress of bilateral relations. The permanent secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Clementine Mucheka, reiterates that by working together and coordinating efforts, the two countries can build a more secure environment for their people.
As you know, Rwanda and Uganda, we share very strong relations. We are not only neighbors, but we have a shared deep historical, cultural, economic ties. And in the future, we are aiming to more exchange, more trade, generate more investment opportunities in the spirit of the EAC cooperation and integration principles. So by working together, we think we can pool resources, share the intelligence and coordinate efforts to combat common threats effectively.
Before this meeting held in Nyagatare district, the latest security meeting between Rwanda and Uganda was held in Kabare, Uganda in 2023, and it was aimed at analyzing how the two countries could cooperate in fighting cross-border crimes, preventing smuggling, and creating measures that would make trade between the two countries more prosperous and facilitate the movement of people.
On Monday, the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Senegal, General Mbaye Cissé, along with his delegation, visited the Rwanda Defense Force headquarters and were welcomed by General Mubarak Muganga, the Chief of Defense Staff of the Rwanda Defense Force. He also extended a courtesy call to Honorable Minister of Defense, Mr. Juvenal Madizamunda, before receiving a briefing on RDF's transformation journey and regional security dynamics. Addressing the media post-meeting, General Mbaye Cissé highlighted the significance of his visit with the framework of a long-standing friendship and collaboration between Rwanda and Senegal. He underscored the historical ties between the RDF and the Senegalese armed forces forged through years of cooperation.
La visite de cet après-midi a été consacrée au ministre de la Défense et au chef d'état-major général des armées rwandaises.
The visit paid to the Minister of Defense and Chief of Defense Staff this afternoon is a visit that you know is part of the friendly relations and cooperation between Rwanda and Senegal.
Les forces armées sénégalaises sont liées depuis plusieurs années. D'abord, the
Rwanda Defense Forces and the Armed Forces of Senegal enjoy close ties for many years, first in different peacekeeping missions. Secondly, which is even more symbolic, the engagement of the Senegalese troops here during the genocide against the Tutsi, whereby Captain Mbaye Diagne, a heroic ambassador of the Armed Forces of Senegal, has saved many lives here. This is an engagement which has always been commended by our Rwandan friends. Whenever we come here, we come with a memory of the heroic relations we have. Today, therefore, has been an opportunity to reflect on our history, but also the future. And the future is the cooperation we are going to have with the Rwanda Defense Forces in the field of training as far as peacekeeping missions are concerned. And equally, we are going to enhance cooperation in all domains by signing a memorandum of understanding between the two countries that we are soon finalizing.
Nous allons étendre la coopération à tous les autres domaines en signant un protocole d'accord et de coopération entre les deux pays que nous allons bientôt finaliser.
Earlier in the day, the Senegalese army chief paid homage to the victims of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi at the Kigali Genocide Memorial and later visited the campaign against a genocide museum in Kimihurura. Survivors of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi are recognizing the urgent need to preserve evidence of the families that were systematically targeted and completely wiped out during the tragic period. This should be preserved as a sign of a long-planned plan to exterminate the Tutsi.
In places like Rukumberi, next to the mist lakes, rivers, and the Kagera River, where life typically thrives in the rainy seasons, the horrors of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi paint a different picture. Instead of vitality, Rukumberi became a landscape of death as the cries of the Tutsi filled with the air alongside the dead bodies killed during that period. The Interahamwe and the former Rwandan armed forces reveled in their brutality, boasting about the big number of the Tutsi they mercilessly slaughtered. Currently, most of the areas where Tutsi used to reside in this place is in ruins after most of the families were completely wiped out. That song that I said, saying, "Be strong, servants of God, be alert and keep praying and preparing for the day of the Lord," they came to find out that some people are still alive. I don't know what they used, but they destroyed the door and then they started killing people with machetes and that is where I got all these wounds. I wasn't born like this.
What I witnessed in this place is beyond my understanding, and that was my first time to see people dying. In this court, there were many people, but when we came back, there were only bodies of dead people.
The 2019 census conducted by the Genocide Survivors Association reveals that in Goma district, out of the 704 families that were tragically wiped out, 316 families resided in Rukumberi alone. Today, the Rukumberi Genocide Memorial stands as a solemn testament to the atrocities, serving as the final resting place for over 42,000 Tutsi victims. Among them, more than 30,000 lost their lives in Rukumberi, while tragically fewer than 750 managed to survive in the area. The geographical layout of Rukumberi provided harrowing advantage for the perpetrators of the genocide, facilitating their agenda to systematically exterminate the Tutsi population. Kabandana Alexi is the head of the community of survivors of the genocide against the Tutsi in Rukumberi. He explains more on this.
kuko nabo bicirwaga ahandi muri Rukumberi nko ku nsengero.
People were not killed in this place only, but also in other places such as in churches and other offices. Many were brought to be thrown here in this place, here at Akagera.
Nsengero bakaza kubajugunya hano muri kano Kagera.
The only way out the Tutsi could get out of Rukumberi was through Akagera River. Unfortunately, the area was surrounded by perpetrators, leaving no space for Tutsi to escape. In Rukumberi, significant evidences in the form of plaques are affixed to the ruins of once dominant families who were completely wiped out during the genocide. These evidences were gathered with the help of one of the survivors who is now living abroad, where it came from his Jewish friend. However, some evidences are destroyed by people who want to hide the history of others who may relocate there without understanding the importance of these plaques.
Hari ubutumwa barimo kuguha bivuze ngo nuko ari leta.
There's a message that this portrays the fact that we have a good and strong government. It is because we are a safe country. Otherwise, people would see you destroying the plaque of their home. It wouldn't be an easy fight. This shows that the government still has to work on teaching these people who still has the bad ideology. This serves as a compelling example of what must be done in other regions to preserve history, particularly for families that were completely wiped out during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. According to the 2019 Genocide Survivors Association census, across the country, 15,593 families were completely wiped out, comprising of 68,871 individuals. These statistics shows the calculated intent of those who planned and executed the genocide, a ruthless scheme aimed at the complete extermination of the Tutsi, leaving no survivors to recount the horrors. Amidst this darkness, a few Tutsi managed to survive, hiding in marshlands. Their rescue on 5th May 1994 by the RPF in Montagny stands as a testament to resilience and solidarity in the face of unspeakable evil. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
And from this report, we come to the end of tonight's edition. On behalf of the entire news production, as well as the technical team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us. And up until next time, stay safe, and we wish you a great and fruitful week ahead. Goodbye.